uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Priscilla Mah-Belloh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new day broadcast where we spark conversations that inspire change and help us see the world in new ways. At a new day, we dig deep into how politics, culture, and tradition shape our lives, talking with leaders working to create a better future for all of us. This show is all about essential discussions on social justice, especially gender justice, to influence policies and make fundamental changes in society. Again, I'm Priscilla Mah-Belloh, and I'm delighted to have you here. Let's work together to rethink how we see the world, grow our understanding, and move towards a society where fairness and justice are at the heart of everything we do. Thank you for joining us on this journey toward a new day. I have with me today two of my colleagues, two great media, how people say a pen pusher or whatever now is type is on computer. But two of my colleagues that I have high regards for are with me today. The first person I'm going to introduce is a brother, Chiche J. Blasson. He's a former Liberian journalist and currently a political commentator. Chiche used to be editor at the Vanguard, where he and I worked together, and then later at the Daily Observer newspaper. Along with other colleagues, they established the Nation Times and Duke Post newspapers. Um, Chiche is the chairman of ALJA Convention 2024. I'm used to referring to him as J Son. I don't know why I jumped to Chiche this morning. I think it's the camera on me. But yeah, so J Son is the chairperson of ALJA Convention 2024. ALJA is the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. So welcome to a new day today. J Son is so
Thank you,
good.
Priscilla.
Okay. The next person we have is a former director of communications uh, of the National Elections Commission of Liberia. This is another great media professional. He's a former director of communications at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, LEGIS. He's also the former senior producer at Star Radio, and he's a former supervising editor of DC TV, and also a former reporter of Crystal FM and a former reporter of Case FM. He began at a humble beginning at the radio neighbor. He has a Bachelor of Science in Economics University from the University of Liberia, where I'm also from. And he has a Master of Science in Fraud and Forensic. Um, he's a certified fraud examiner now and an anti-money laundering civilian investigator at the Huntington National Bank. I'm talking about Joey Kennedy. Joey Kennedy is the Secretary General of ALJA. And Joey found himself in a position where he had to step in to lead ALJA, and some leadership spaces got opened due to a higher call by other colleagues who were in those roles. So Joey is playing like three roles now. He's like a mother, father, cousin, brother, sister for ALJA. Welcome to a new day, Joey. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for the invite, and we're very honored to have the opportunity to appear on your very big platform, and we hope that we will use your platform to espouse on some of the activities and programs and projects of the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA. So I'm very honored to be here today with my colleague, Jadison.
Okay. All right. So in short, Joey, how we refer to your new position now?
Well, I am the officer in charge, and as you may be aware, like you rightly said, this is a situation that evolved as a result of the resignation by the president, Mr. Pee Wee Besa, and also the vice president, Mrs. Kadia
Right.
Buhari, who got a job as deputy minister for how do you call it, tourism at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. And so Pee Wee Besa also got a job as executive director of the National Port Authority. So when these two resigned, the board of directors took the decision to appoint me as officer in charge of ALJA, pending the conduct of a by-election, at our ensuing national convention, which is coming up, of course, and that's why we are here to discuss. So, yeah. So currently, I'm the officer in charge of the association.
Yeah. Okay. And so far, how have you been doing? Tell us, are there challenges? Are there, like, I know, again, I don't think we foresee the position that you find yourself in today, but just tell us a little bit. How is it going for you?
Yeah, I mean, as you may be aware, in every endeavor, every human undertaking, there will always be challenges, and there are always challenges. So yeah, there are a couple of challenges, but as an optimist, as a person who has a positive self-esteem, I always have that nature, that desire to surmount whatever challenges that I face. So, irrespective of all of the challenges that we have been able to effectively surmount them, overcome them with the help of professionals and experienced, educated individuals in the organization, like Jiblasin, yourself, former presidents and other members of the association. They've all harnessed their resources, their effort and support around the transitional leadership, and by that we have been able to surmount, whatever challenges there have been.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just put it out there for the viewers before it be like, so what Priscilla in dark shades with us today? I'm recovering from eye surgery, and my
Right.
eyes are a little sensitive to light right now. So that's what I turned out today, like Priscilla Wonder. But I
Oh,
can
we didn't know
see you.
that. Sorry.
I
Yeah, I
hope
mean,
you see
yeah,
me
we
clearly.
should be recovering, man.
Yeah, recovery eye surgery from both eyes. So my eyes are sensitive to light right now. Yeah. Okay. So J Plason, now you are the chairperson of the convention committee. Um, Before we go into details about the convention, um, just the convention is next week, right?
Correct.
It's,
Oh,
it's this week.
It'll be this week, and it starts from the 10th to the 13th.
oh, okay, okay. And so, tell us, J Plason, what is the theme again of this convention?
So the theme of the convention is oh, sorry, I'm sorry, one moment.
No,
So they
or maybe Joey can jump in. They
yeah,
my
you can jump if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, of course. So the convention is this year, as you may be aware, is the 12th annual convention of the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. This is a
Okay.
this is a convention that we as an association hold every year to discuss the programs and projects, of the association, and to do soul searching and explore opportunities that will help in the process of enhancing our activities as an organization. So this year, our convention, is going to be held in the beautiful city of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and it's going to be held under the theme addressing Liberia's fragility through war crimes, accountability, and social economic development. And
Okay.
So
That's a
as the chairman said, it runs from October 10th to the 13th this year.
okay. That's a mouthful. Please give me that theme again.
So it's addressing Liberia's fragility through war crimes accountability and social economic development.
Okay. I'm wondering why did we I may be aware, but just for the audience sake, why did we choose this theme? Like how does the theme of addressing Liberia's fragility resonate with the current socio-political climate in Liberia? And what specific issues of fragility are most pressing for Liberia today? And how do you see war crimes accountability playing a role in addressing these issues?
So Priscilla, basically, I understand most people in Liberia will look at war crimes, accountability, or the crimes against economic um, and corruption in the country. Whatever way they look at it, they might see it from the perspective of only being retribution, where they think we might just want to catch a few person, have them killed and thrown in prison, and then we can resolve the issue like that. We understand. I mean, that will also be much for the victims of the war, in as much as it is. But there are some other issues that came up as a result of the war. So if you look at Liberia's population today, you'll see that the population of Liberia is so youthful. As the youth and women in the majority, those demographics in the majority in our population. So and these are the people who had the most for the war. If you look at it from that perspective, and we realize that there's so much unemployment with young people, and they're also unskilled as well. And those things happen because of the war. So if you look at Liberia's peace and you're looking at strengthening our democracy, you have to look at it from the perspective of people having the ability to earn money, to have a job, earn money, and to care for themselves. In the event where you don't have people living in money economy, not having access to money or not having access to wealth or not having access to employment, you're risking conflict. If you risk conflict, if there's conflict, you undermine democracy. So we cannot strengthen our democracy. We cannot strengthen our peace if we have a society that's fragile. So in as much as we discuss the issue of war crimes, and we have the court and we want people to account, we should also understand the things that arise out of the war. So the vices that were brought about the war, we also have to look at them. So ALJA is actually really concerned, like everybody else, we actually concerned about understanding that those who bear the highest responsibility are perpetrated. Who has perpetrated the war are punished. But we also understand that that war did have a lot on our country, and those
So,
things have to be also looked at. And that's why we think the society is still fragile, and
okay.
with social economic development that accompanying peace to strengthen democracy. So that's the basis of the theme of this convention.
So
Okay.
if I may just add, accountability, especially war crimes accountability, is very essential for the growth and development, both economic and social development of any nation. Like Jablosin said, our country, was seriously hit by years of civil war, and so individuals who perpetrated these acts, who bear the greatest responsibility for crimes that were committed during the civil crisis, are still out there and are holding positions in government and are moving around freely. So we believe that war crimes accountability will serve a key role in a lot of ways. For example, deterrence. It will help in the process of holding accountable individuals who perpetrated, war crimes and other very terrible things during the Civil War, and will deter a recurrence. Because if these people are held accountable, they are go to court and they are prosecuted and sentenced. uh, Posterity will will understand that perpetrators of crime will be held accountable. So as a result, they will be deterred. It will serve as a deterrence for the commission of war crimes in the future. Justice for victims and their families is a very essential component. So accountability will provide recognition for the suffering and validation of the victims and their families, and it will also help to bring closure to the families. Reconciliation and healing is also a very essential component. So accountability will help the Liberian society come to terms with the past and foster the process of reconciliation and healing. And there are other very essential components to the accountability aspect of the war and economic crime. So promoting, accountability and the rule of law is very essential. So all in all, we as an organization chose to have this theme because against the backdrop of how sensitive this issue is in our country and how the current government has begun taking steps towards the process of establishing a war and economic crimes court. As you may be aware, the legislature under the leadership of Speaker Jonathan Fanatic Kofa approved a resolution to establish a war and economic crimes court in our country. As an organization which is involved in advocacy, governance, and the rule of law, ALJA has to continuously, espouse the need to ensure the implementation of that resolution that was enacted by the legislature. So we want to continuously, create awareness and sensitization of the public about this very essential component of peace and democracy, or the quest for peace and democracy in the country. So it's against this backdrop that we selected this theme and this topic, and we can expand more on it as we continue the discussion.
Okay. All right. That's a segue to my next question. You already said so. We want to create awareness and advocate. So, how do you believe that the convention goals will contribute to moving the needle on justice and accountability for war crimes? I mean, it's great that AJA wants to create awareness and advocate, like I think many other civil society organizations are doing now. Um, how do you think creating awareness and contributing to advocacy advocacy will contribute to moving the needle on the issue of justice and accountability for war crimes? Remember, it have been years where organizations have been doing this. How is AJA contribution going to move the needle? I just want any practical or specific. If you
Okay,
have,
so
no.
okay, so basically to that point, let me say clearly that the issue of establishment of a war crime court in Liberia, war economic crime court in Liberia, that rests squarely with the political will of the political leaders in our country. They have to demonstrate will to establish the war crime economic court. As we stand, there's been demonstrated lack of political will in our country. Has to be corrected. But I think those who have been in charge or run the country since the end of the war have not demonstrated any political will to that. The speed at which we set up the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in our country would have led anyone to believe that strongly we were quickly going to deal with the issue of war, given the horrendous human rights violations that we witnessed. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We've dragged through those years, and we found our leaders, not taking this issue very seriously. Um, we found bickering and wrangling, between political forces and oppositions, and you know, in the different quarters in the country with different views on what we do and how we manage. a war crime court. Some people have been squarely against establishing a court. So, but the question then is, what can we do to move the needle? What can we do to move this process forward as a journalist group? We must first understand that for us as journalists, we have to come from the background where we come as a fourth estate. And I always remind my colleagues that as fourth estate, we are giving that social responsibility to be the one who create a check and balance towards the people who run the country. So we have to stand up. We have to ensure that whatever we do it morally right, and we can do it to the extent that will hold these people feet to the fire, and we do it continuously, so that they understand that they have an obligation to the society. I think for the most part, people who lead our country, they take that for granted. They think it's a privilege to lead, and it's this they find themselves as masters of the people. They don't see themselves as just one citizen who only have this privilege to be here. We are all equal. We just give this opportunity to one of our equal leaders. But we have
Hmm.
the right as the people to put enough pressure on these governments to deliver, and that's what we're going to do going forward. That's what ALJA trying to do. We've done that over and over again. And there's some people who think and feel that when we do these things, then we act as opposition political parties. No, we are not. We are only bringing pressure to bear so that government understands that they have an obligation that they probably are reneging on. And so a few conscious group in the society are standing up so that they understand. And we're going to do that. We're going to hold this conference. We're going to make sure after the conference we can draw a document. We after drawing up a document, we can reach out to the government and we'll remain engaged. It's good that the speaker will be speaking here at this convention. It's good that the speaker was centered to the resolution that that reunite this whole war crime thing. I think the ruling Unity Party was not serious towards it. I think the 40 opposition lawmakers from that bloc, led by Kofa, I would appreciate what they did, and I think we're going to we're going to make pressure to bear on the legislature to make sure that they can legislate a law, and then we can hope that there will be international pressure on the president, in as much as Liberia is claiming to be gunning for this non permanent seat on the Security Council, and you want to have yourself at the center of world influence, political influence in the world, then you should also honor basic basic democratic tenets as good governance and rule of law. And to do that, you want to make sure that people who break the law in your country, the people who break the laws, the people are punished. And that's why it's important that we harness as much resources as possible from within the civil society and other organizations, and also with international groups in the non-state actors and state actors, to bring pressure to bear on this government to ensure that the War Economic Crimes Court is established.
Okay, Chiplason, thank you. Like you just ended my interview or conversation. Why are you running a hair? But no, thank you. I think I like your responses. There's so much I could get. I'll take out of it to piggyback on, but I want to give Joey the chance if he wanted to say something. But I think your response is I like your response. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, he said, it also, our own goal in this is to encourage civic engagement. That's very important in such an endeavor. So if you have your country that has approved a resolution to establish a war and economics crime court, it's important for us to encourage the participation of all citizens and even our international partners in the legal process in our country, to ensure that the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court becomes a reality. It should not just be like a paper tiger, something that's just approved and doesn't move forward. So continuous advocacy is very essential to us ensuring that this works, because it's been more than I think more than 20 years or thereabouts since our civil crisis ended, and individuals who perpetrated heinous crimes in our country are still moving around. Some of them occupying political, senior positions in our governance system in our country. And so we believe that continuous advocacy will encourage participation in the legal process, and it will also help us in holding our leaders accountable to ensure that this works. Because one of such is the fact that we have, like Jefferson said, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Councillor Fanati Kofa, serving as our keynote speaker. He's going to be the keynote speaker for our convention, the benefit banquet. He's going to be the guest speaker, and we in his speech we will expect him to expound on what has happened. What has the legislature done since the enactment or the approval of the resolution to establish a war crimes code? What are other programs and projects? What are mechanisms that are being put into place to ensure that this becomes a success? So, and this convention is not only going to be the end of our advocacy. We'll continuously hold our leaders accountable and ensure that war and economic crimes court in our country is established, so that perpetrators of war crimes and those who bear the greatest responsibility for the crimes that are committed during the war are brought to justice.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, there is. I think this is well thought through, because then I don't even have any further question, because everywhere that I want to question you or poke at, so why is this happening? You're already like thought through the entire the process. I mean, I know process evolve, and rules and programs evolve as we go along. But so far, what I'm hearing is sounds like you have thought this through, in what role ALJA, as an organization, especially when it comes to the convention, what the whole thing is about, why we choose the theme that we choose. The convention is an annual event, like one of you mentioned, but why we choose the theme we choose, it looks like it was thought through well. So thank you for the responses. So let me go to the next. My next question then will be, what role do you see the Liberian diaspora? So this is not only ALJA, the Liberian diaspora, particularly journalists, yes, but playing in promoting sustainable development in Liberia. And that speaks to the question of, is ALJA in collaboration, partnering, engaging in some way, working with other diaspora organizations, or yeah, what role do you see the Liberian diaspora playing in promoting sustainable development in Liberia?
Okay, so if I may just come in. So firstly, before we talk about the role that ALJA and other partner organizations should be or desire to play in ensuring sustainable development in our country, firstly, there are some mechanisms that have to be put into place in our country to serve as a catalyst for sustainable development. One of such is accountability, access, a transparent judicial system. So those are very essential components of sustainable development, without which you cannot attract foreign direct investment, because they should be individuals or companies that are desirous of investing in a country should have the assurance that that whenever something goes wrong, they are able to get justice from our country, from the judicial system. So uh, uh, we have to, as a country and as an organization, continuously ensure, and that's why as an organization, ALJA always advocates. We issue press statements and continuously advocate for good governance in our country. So those are very important. Security of of assets, of both the human, human and physical economic resources are very essential. So those are a very important components. As it comes to agile role in collaborating with other organizations, uh, in ensuring the process of uh, garnering sustainable economic development in the country. After this convention will, try to formulate a comprehensive program and project, comprehensive framework that will assist us in trying to formulate a strategy that will help us in identifying organizations that we can partner with in the United States and around the world, that will be able to help us both in ensuring that we meet our essential goal, and also to find way to help us in making investment in our country. So those are things that can be worked on. And so as a leader, because we're going to election, and I don't want to be able to speak directly to what the elected leadership would do. But after the election, I'm very certain that those elected officers will be able to formulate strategy that will be able to make sure that collaborations are done in ensuring sustainable development in the country.
Okay. All right. J. Plason, what about you as the head of the convention? Are there any partnerships or collaborations you have identified that you think ALJA can consider to enhance the impact of the convention outcomes?
Sure. Basically, there's so many other Liberian diaspora organization that we can work along with, the counties association and the EULA, other groups that we can work with in ensuring that there's sustainable development in Liberia. But let us point out one thing: is first, we are a journalist association, and we have to understand that we have a role in society, and we have a Liberian community here in America, and within that community, we have to play our role. Our role, for the most part, is to inform and educate, and then for other for other part of that, we have to advocate. So we have to identify issues, we understand issues in the society lapses. We have to identify those lapses to make sure that those are corrected. Like Joey said, I want to pick back up what he said. If we look at our country today and we look at the rule of law, and see the justice system in our country, and understand if this is a system in which anyone investing the money in Liberia can trust. If we understand that they can't trust that, then we have to deal with that issue to make sure that issue is corrected. Because at the end of the day, every economy is actually driven by investors and investments. So we don't have investors, we don't have investment, we don't have an economy. That economy dies. We don't want that to happen in Liberia. But we can also highlight areas in Liberia by informing other groups in other groups, both Liberians or non-Liberians, friends of Liberia. We can highlight areas in Liberia where they can also identify and invest. That can be our contribution to our community, because I'm not sure we can match other people, dollar for dollar in raising money to invest in Liberia, but and we don't want to be involved directly into other things, and then we negate our role, in providing information, in providing education, and then in providing advocacy. I think we shouldn't do it, because that's how we will have impact in society as journalists. We lead in that area, and that is left for us to do. And so I think it will be very important if working with other groups in America, in the diaspora, we can be able to harness our resources and we play our part, they play their part. Now, if we
Yeah.
speak of the outcomes of the outcomes of
Okay.
the convention.
Yeah.
So basically, how can we push the envelope? How can we move the paper trail somewhere down the line? So we count on groups in America, the EULA, other accounting groups, uh, other groups of influence, to see how we can use their influence as well as ours to, as I said earlier, bring pressure on the government to deliver on the key components of the establishment of the war crime court, on the key components of addressing issue with social economic development, unemployment among young people, empowering women. Some of these groups might have a way of playing their own role in there. They might be able to maybe generate fundings, from other funding institutions. They might be able to generate fundings. But once we identify the problems and we say these can be the solutions, and they can find a way to come in and help. And I will tell you one thing, Priscilla, when we were at Vanguard, maybe you remember that we collaborated the same way with social with the with CBOs, civil society organizations and all that. So we
Yeah.
wrote stories that we knew affected the country, but we could not go to court to sue the government. We could not do anything. So what we did, we have civil society organization groups that had interest in your areas to lead in making sure to sue the government. And I remember in one case where they were lifting iron ore from the cannon, and we ran the story, and then we had six human rights group sue the government to put a moratorium on lifting iron ore, so that they can, and the Supreme Court passed a law. I mean, ruled on that, so they put a prohibition on that. But so I'm saying that kind of collaboration you can have with groups. So it cannot just be about that, but it could be about other issues with youth groups, with women groups, uh, with investment opportunity in our country, with tourism, all that kind of thing. We can all work together and look for a way, and then we can have groups who are interested in the country. We cannot be ourselves involved, but we can ourselves, bring out the issues where people in places where people can have interest and get involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. Um, that reminds me of one time I went to work, and then you said, guess what? The article you wrote, I think Elizabeth Boyne used to
Yeah,
be the
we,
president of
yeah,
AFL, and then was able to contact Vanguard and say, hey, can we collaborate on flagging women issues, especially the role of AFL because of this article? And then you were like, you see, what you were able to make someone express interest in partnering with Vanguard. And yeah, I agree. There are a lot of ways that we can flag issues, and that is in collaboration. One of my trips from out of up country was able to help. Was it Red Cross that where Carpet was at?
yeah,
Uh,
yes, the Red Cross.
and then they were able to follow up on these little children that I saw in the bushes. We were coming from up country, and the car stopped, and I went to pee in the bushes and saw this child peeping through the bushes, and then later on found out from other people that, oh, they're keeping some children over there, and had to do with Ziza Mansa those days. Anyway, they were able to follow up, and they were able to secure those children from that place. So what I'm hearing you saying, J. Plason, is that no, we're not going to, our role may not be to match dollar for dollar, because if even though Joey say, yeah, we will start our projects and we could engage in stuff like that, but also and most importantly, we can partner with diaspora or Friends of Liberia or non-state actors to influence policy and public opinion on critical issues. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard you saying.
Yeah, basically those things, and I'm not saying what like, I'm not recounting what Joey said that we cannot get involved, but we don't have the means to march and dialogue. But what we can do is that we can also expose areas that they can get involved into, and people can kind of be
Mhm.
so we can help make that kind of exposure, providing information, education, and if the areas where we found the critical issues there can be advocacy for this issue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that's why we working together to influence the policy and public opinion
yeah,
on critical
absolutely.
issues. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the lineup of the convention activities, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The breakdown of activities for the length of the convention. I know in passing you mentioned it, or Joey mentioned it, but let's start with who are first. The first day is the 10th. What's happening on the 10th? The 10th
So
is this
on
coming
the
Tuesday,
on
right?
the 10th it's a Thursday. So that people will be arriving on that day. We expect most of our guests will be arriving here in Philadelphia. And once they come in on the night of the 10th, we have this pre meet and greet. It's a kind of everyone coming to town and want to know who's in town, who attend the convention, kind of thing. But it's a pre meet and greet. We'll be having that at the home of one of our most able members, Mr. Steve Bennett. And Mr. Bennett will host the group that night. Mr. Bennett's wife will host the group at the pre meet and greet. So we'll have the pre meet and greet. Then on Friday, which is the 11th, on the eve of the main event, it picks up in the morning very early. It's going to be a very busy day. About 6:30 a.m., the attendees will be boarding a bus, a tour bus, almost like you're making a tour from Philadelphia to DC. So you're going to be riding down to DC. And I can imagine what that would be. Colleagues who've been working together or missing each other for years, and they're coming in here. I hope some of our ALJA members who are listening, who's missing this convention, will try to make up their mind now to come and join us. But this is going to be an epic one. Yeah, it's going to be this ride down to DC and go to the warehouse, and I want to be thankful to Melissa Chia Anand. She was very thoughtful. She's organized that bus ride,
And
and
Melissa, sorry, Melissa is the vice chair of the.
the co-chair of the commission, the vice chairman of the local chapter that's hosting. So she has two crowns on her head. Yeah,
She's the
and,
co-chair
and
committee.
yeah, and so she did it, and I want to appreciate that what she did. And but again, it's going to be a nice time. They're going to ride, go to the White House, and then after the White House, they're going to visit the Capitol, and maybe who knows, stop some other places around the capital city, in DC, photo shoot, and they'll have all that. That will be on Friday. Then when they come back on Friday from DC, when they're back in Philadelphia, we'll have a meet and greet. This is an official meet and greet, and this official meet and greet will take place at the home of the Wesley. Mr. Kina Wesley is one of our members here in the local chapter in the Mava, and the Mava is the Mava Delaware Valley chapter. We'll just say for short the Mava, and then we have the meet and greet. So there'll be a meet and greet, and the usual thing again. We're gonna be meeting each other, talking after a long time we haven't met. Carry on as commentary and all that kind of thing. And after that, then we have the main events on Saturday the 12th. That kicks up in the morning with the convention being officially opened by myself, the chairman of the convention, and we have our local chapter president welcome everybody in here, and then we go straight into our speaking in our symposium. We have our speakers. Most of our speakers will be speaking virtually, and we'll have a number of speakers who are going to speak on that day. So we have topics that line up for the day that they want to speak on. We're going to have the first topic is accountability, rule of law, and social economic development in Liberia, and that will be addressed by a young a young Liberian woman, Tenant Dalia Tohu. I understand she's a social justice, transitional justice or social justice candidate.
Transition.
Yeah, no, it's universal justice and international criminal law.
Okay, universal justice, international criminal law. Okay, and then she'll address that topic. And then we also have
she's a PhD. Just add up, she's a PhD candidate in universal jurisdiction, international criminal law, transitional justice, and peace building at Dublin City University in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. So she's going to speak on that topic he's talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then next to that, we'll have after that we'll also have Mr. George Judy Winston II. He's a former assistant minister at the Ministry of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He's also former executive director at the National Investment Commission, and he's currently an adjunct lecturer at the graduate school at the AMEU in Monrovia. He will be speaking on addressing unemployment, inequality, and access to wealth as the keys to achieving social economic development. And this basically will touch on, as I said earlier, our young people and the huge unemployment, that undercut our peace and undercut our democracy, strengthen our democracy. And you will know, for most part, during the election in our country, politicians become more or less philanthropists, and they campaign more on charity than they campaign on the ability and the competence. And this is based on our poverty in our country. So those things have to be addressed.
Okay.
And then we have our own colleague Bill Berg, who's from Al Jazeera. He want to speak on the role of media in advancing accountability and the rule of law in social economic development. And of course, last but not the least, probably maybe the one who will be headlining the convention will be Dr. Rob Telpelli. She's a writer and an advocate. She will be speaking on empowering Liberian women, addressing gender-specific impacts of war crimes, and building a path to social economic resilience. We are also expecting on this taking place on Saturday morning. This is the first event on Saturday morning. We're also expecting the Director of Cabinet, Mr. Nathaniel Kwabo. And Mr. Nathaniel Kwabo will bring us up to date on the government's own position and their own involvement into the establishment of the War Crime and Economic Court and the reconciliation in Liberia. He will speak to that, and then after that we'll have our working session. And our working sessions is going to be where we're going to have issues within ALJA being discussed to see our way forward as an organization, and that will be presided over by the officer in charge and the Secretary General, your own number 7, Joseph Joey Kennedy. He's going to preside over that session, and after that session, and then we'll have a by-elections, which is going to be presided over by the Reverend Suadede, who is the chairman of our Elections Commission. So it's a 3-packed program on Saturday morning. And then we'll close on after the elections, and we have our new officials. We will leave, and then we'll come back in the night. And
before you go to the night section, I just want to emphasize the point on the elections. So we have 3 vacancies that were created as a result of the resignation of our previous leaders. So we will have a by-election to fill out those vacancies, and those elected will complete their unexpired term of the officials that resigned. So the positions that will be contested will be the position of president of ALJA. We'll have the vice president and the secretary general position that will be available for contestation in the by-election. So right now, the Elections Commission has certified only 3 candidates, so 1 for each position. Myself, I'm the sole candidate for the position of president of ALJA. and you, our humble host, Priscilla, who is a vice presidential candidate that has been certified by Electoral Commission, and Melissa Anna is running as Secretary General on a post. So those are the three candidates that will be contesting the three positions that we just named earlier. And also just on Dr. Robtel Pele. I mean, as you know, she is a very prominent Liberian academic. She is assistant professor for international social and public policy at the London School of Economics in the UK there. And like you said, she's going to be speaking on empowering Liberian women and addressing gender-specific impacts of war crimes and building the path to socio-economic development. She was the keynote speaker, the recent keynote speaker at the national, as a celebration of our independence, I think Independence Day orator, and so she's gonna speak on that topic. So I just wanted to add that very important buttress out to what the chairman of the committee is providing us a lineup.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joey. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that.
Bill Burke.
And Bill Burke, who's a deputy program editor at Al Jazeera English, based in Doha, Qatar. And he's one of our own, and he holds a very prominent position. So see a Liberian occupying that position at that very esteemed international media network is a very, very good thing. So he's going to be speaking to us also on the role of the media in ensuring accountability, the rule of law, and as it relates to social economic development in our country, Liberia. And one of the most essential element of this year's convention, like Mr. Jefferson said, is the tour of the White House and the U.S. Capitol. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we have. The fact that we were able to officially notify the White House and the Capitol building, the U.S. Capitol, and President Joe Biden, and his wife officially responded to us and provided us the opportunity to tour our members, to tour the entire White House, the most I can say secure building in the world. It's a serious honor for us. So our members of ALJA will be very honored by the opportunity provided by the U.S. government for us to go and tour the U.S. Capitol, the White House. And the White House tour begins at 10:30 a.m. on Friday morning. So like Jefferson said, we're leaving very early. By 6:30, we'll be on our way to Washington, D.C. We don't want to leave late because we don't want to be caught up with traffic or unforeseen circumstances. So as a result, we are leaving very early so we can reach early and check in early and be able to have that experience of touring the White House, the home of the United States presidency. And after that, by 1:30, we will be guided through a tour of the U.S. Capitol. We'll go through Capitol building there at the Capitol Hill and be able to tour the U.S. Capitol, and then we'll return, and then the rest of the activities will continue on that day. So, so I just wanted to add into what he just was trying to outline. I know he has not concluded, because there are other components of the but just to add to what he was saying.
Yeah, I think it's important, it's necessary. Thank you, Joey. And J. Plasson, before you continue, I'll quickly say Joey to emphasize or clarify the reason why J. Plasson was saying thank you to Melissa is the entire committee and entire organization, but Melissa was instrumental in informing in securing she wrote there is a group of Liberian journalists in the Americas, and this we want to visit the White House. So
she did extremely well. In fact, when Melissa called me about that, I was like, Melissa, how did you get this to work? That's she did extremely well, and I will again just join the chairman of the committee in thanking very exceedingly Melissa, for making this to happen, because
Yeah.
this is unprecedented, you know, in the history of ALJA, and this is going to go a long way, you know, in memorializing, you know, our conventions in the future.
Yeah.
So Melissa really did extremely well by ensuring that, you know, she wrote the congressperson, and then they contacted the White House, and all everything else has been organized. We were able to hire the service to charter a bus, a tour bus, a luxury bus, a 55-seater luxury bus, you know, that's going to pick us up. You know, it's a bus that has Wi-Fi and television service in it, you know, and even bathroom. You know, I think they said they have a bathroom service in that. So we're gonna be there with our colleagues, because we also have some journalists from Liberia that are coming.
That's what I was going to ask. Who
Yes,
are those?
we wrote we invited a lot of our colleagues from Liberia, and a couple of them were able to acquire visa. So
Okay.
a lot of them are coming. We have the former president of the Press Union of Liberia, Charles Coffey. He will be here for the program. In fact, he just notified me yesterday that he should be arriving maybe by Wednesday or thereabout. We have Malcolm Joseph, the head of the Center for Media Studies and Peace Building. He's also coming. We have Venera Johnson Freeman, who's also coming. We also have Lady May Hunter. She's coming. And Luis Topa, you know, acquired a visa also from the U.S. Embassy. So we expect that he will come, but it seems that he's having some, you know, conflicting schedule because he's attending the United Methodist program somewhere in Southern Africa. So yeah, so, but he has a visa. He was invited. He has a visa, and a couple of others. We have the assistant minister for public affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Sewa Ba is going to be there.
Okay.
She's also coming. We have I think Liberian Women NGO Network. You know, one of the board members. I just her name just slided up my mind, but she,
All
she's
right.
yeah, she's also coming. So there is a lot of our colleagues that will be coming from Liberia that will join us our members from the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Delta chapter, I call it the other ones from the Maryland, uh, DC, and Virginia chapter will also be there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a wonderful time, and the bus ride will be an opportunity for us to reconnect and to talk about old memories and discuss other personal and other issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely. Definitely.
That is huge. I agree with you. I'm so excited. I'm going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Woo! That is so huge. And then quickly, Chaplain, before I gave you the floor again, I wanted to also add that the head of the Elections Commission, Reverend, who you refer to as Reverend, so it's Reverend now, is also the former president of, or one of the former presidents of the President of Liberia.
Yes. Yeah. Reverend Swat did it right. Correct. Yeah.
He's
He's
heading
the chairman of our elections commission, the ALJA Elections Commission.
the
Exactly.
Yeah,
election.
and also an elder statesman in ALJA. So
Okay. All right. Okay, Chaplain, go ahead.
So and then Saturday we conclude with Saturday with the benefit banquet.
Mhm.
So the benefit banquet is the highlight of our convention normally each year. That is because we generate at that occasion we generate or we try to raise money for our media development drive. The media development drive, we use that to support media development back in Liberia. You will understand that the Liberian media is challenged by so many means. You know, we try to fill in our little ways. We try to fill in, you know, the gap. I just tried to. So, in the past, I just, you know, distributed equipment. We've involved with training, and then we also sponsor journalists at the University of Liberia. I know the next administration will have a lot to put in. I understand you are also thinking other things to do besides those things, and we appreciate that you're taking ahead of the game already. You know, but at the board we're going to have the highlight is going to be this again the speaker, Chief Anadi Kofa, and I like to say this about Speaker Kofa that Speaker Kofa has been very attractive to us. to speak at this occasion above all things because we really think that his contribution, to reigniting the war economic crime court debate in Liberia and it's immense, it's huge, and that's why it's important to this occasion. Because as I said earlier in my statements, without him and his 40-member block of opposition lawmakers in the lower house, we will not be speaking about what we're speaking today about establishing the War Crime Economic Court. I personally, that's subjective to me. I personally believe the national government was not serious towards it. They didn't show the level of political will, and I think if these lawmakers have not come forward with the resolution, we will not be where we are today. And even at that, I think we're still dragging our feet as a country towards establishing the War Crime Court. And I hold no apology in saying that to anyone. I'm being very apologetic about it. And so he'll be the keynote speaker of the night, and he's coming with an entourage. I understand he has other representatives or lawmakers on his entourage and other members of his staff. But also on the night, we're going to have maybe the most successful, the greatest ever gospel musician in the history of Liberia. Who's number one hate. Liberia, you are lifted. It's even more sung and more danced to than the national anthem and other patriotic songs in our country. And she's no other but Ambassador Myron Cassell. She's going to see the greatest occasion. She's going to be singing here. So you can tell there's nothing greater than that happening. So she's going to be there. And also we have Catherine UJ Dennis, who's also a gospel musician. She'll also be there. But as I said, Myron is going to be here, and this is going to be epic. Trust me.
It all sounds so epic. Woo!
Yeah,
so that what it is. And at the banquet, we're going to try to generate raise funds. So we will try to invite our friends, family members, colleagues, other organizations within Philadelphia area, to come to this program and to make this thing a success. If you are a Liberian, if you love your country, if you're a friend of Liberia, if you love Liberia, you want to be there, because people must understand journalism or the media is very key to developing our country. If we have a media that is very good, that is very productive, that is able to provide information, education to our people, it helps our people to make decisions. When they make good decisions, we'll have good leaders, we'll have good policies, we'll have good country. Thank you.
Thank you, J.
Yeah, so I just want to just add up. We like to encourage all Liberians. Whether you are in the Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania area, or any part of the United States or across the world, to please support our media fund drive. It's very essential because we over the years have been involved in helping to build the capacity of the media in Liberia. We've been involved in distributing laptop computers, micro recorders to several community and national radio stations, radio television stations, as well as print media institutions in our country. And this is a yearly event that we hold whenever we are having our convention. We have a fund drive during which we raise funds. We seek contribution from attendees and from our partners, as well as well-wishers, in ensuring that we generate enough funds towards effecting the continuous provision of those sort of capacity building initiatives to our media institutions in our country. So we have tickets that are available for those in the United States who want to attend. We have ordinary tickets, single tickets for $40. We have tickets also for couple, which is $75, and then we have Patreon tickets for $100. And those tickets are available. You can contact myself here at 612-298-3746. Or you can also contact Mr. Jefferson and Melissa and even yourself and the rest of our other colleagues. So any ALJA member that you are aware of and you are interested in making contribution towards our efforts, you can call, or call my number, call Jefferson, yourself, and any other member of ALJA and make a contribution, because this is about the motherland, this is about Liberia, and we all want to mobilize the kind of resources that are desired to build, to ensure a vibrant and effective media in our country.
Okay. Thank you. I just responded to someone that was asking. So let me just read a few comments before we wrap up. So Lincoln Young, I'm sorry, Lincoln, if I didn't say your last name right. I just wanted to read your comment. Lincoln said, I'm following from Ganta City, Nimba County, Liberia. I think my station can partner with you guys. Thank you, Lincoln, for following us. Yeah, we can talk of
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Our page is, I'm going to share the link after this broadcast so that you can contact us through our page. But thank you for expressing interest in partnering with ALJA and for following us. Um, who's someone else? Stevie, my is one of my other good brothers. Steven say ALJA has done, and Steven, by the way, is a media executive. He runs the green. He runs the. He's the head of the journalists that are working with reporting on the environment, conservation of nature, kind of. He's an environmental journalist. Okay. Stephen said ALJA has done well in advocating for press freedom and addressing the mistreatment of journalists. Thank you, Stephen. But many Liberian journalists continue to face financial instability, low wages, and precarious working conditions. It is time ALJA transition to media sustainability by launching programs aimed at empowering journalists economically. Great idea. Thank you, Stevie. By the way, Stevie has expressed interest in attending the convention this year. But yeah, that just to show you that he's interested.
Welcome, Stevie. We are looking forward to seeing you. As you may be aware, is in the city of Philadelphia. So if you need any further information, you can contact Priscilla, myself, or Jefferson, or any other ALJA member that you know of. We'll be there. I'm arriving in Philadelphia on Thursday morning by 9 o'clock. I'll be there in Philadelphia. So, you can contact me and we can interface. We can discuss. You seem to have some very brilliant ideas. We can all, tap into your idea and all work towards showing, the sustainability of our media partners or institutions in Nigeria.
And Stephen, I like to also comment on what Stephen stated. Again, let me say this much. Stephen, are you in Liberia or in America?
Yeah, he's in
Liberia?
Liberia for now.
Is in Monrovia?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're in Monrovia and you're part of the president of Liberia, you're a member of the PUL, because this one thing that the former PUL president Peter Kwekwe and I have tried to work on when he was president of the PUL, you will see and understand that the media institutions, whether it's a radio station or it's a newspaper, those are businesses of their own. And if you're in Monrovia, if you look at media executives or owners of media institutions, you want to look at their lifestyle, look at the homes they build, the houses they live in, the cars they drive. You will agree with me that the resources coming from the institutions they run. So we ask ourselves the question: if media executives are as rich as they are, quote unquote rich as they are, if they can afford the houses they have, if they can afford the cars they drive, they can send the kids to the best schools. Some of the kids in the West have cars. If those resources are being generated from the institutions that they run, what is wrong with paying the reporters very good salaries? So that's the union issue. that the PL has to undertake. The PL has to be a labor union. It has to be a union that hold these people to account. The same way the agricultural worker union hold Firestone, the whole lack, they hold all these people to account for tappers that being paid, being underpaid, when lack and Firestone are reaping all those huge benefits. The same thing must apply to our colleagues who run media institutions or people who own media institutions in Liberia. We cannot sit and look at them because they belong to the PO and they generate all that money, and then some of them reinvesting the money into other things. And then the people who make the money for them, those people are still poor. Today, when journalists died, we have to collect money to bury them. I saw a picture of the from a funeral from a journalist recently, and I saw a journalist at that funeral. I'm not going to call their name, but I saw the pictures and I shed tears. They look so pitiful, and those people are old; they can't work anymore. But these people don't have anything, zero. But those people that worked for before, those people are all rich people. They own better homes, they own better cars, their kids are well off. We cannot run the media like that. We cannot run the media like that. We cannot be that to our colleagues. So we have to have a PL that is a union in its stamp of the word, and we can hold people to account. You have to pay journalists a livable wage. Stop paying them peanuts and ask them to go and live on hands out. That's bad. That has to stop. The ALJA is interested in working with the PL. I'm sure the next administration will want to do that. As member of the board, I'm going to impress on them to do that. That will work with the PL to ensure that we hold people to account. But again, we can have ways that we can have the media sustainable. But there's no way we can start hand out to journalists. You cannot be working for say my former employer, the Daily Observer, and the Daily Observer has a very big office. They only have a nice house, has a car driving to work, and then we ask someone to give the Daily Observer reporter a cap on the salary. I mean, how do we do that? How do we do that? They should be able to pay a livable wage to their own reporters. I think that will answer that for that. But we can have other ways to work around to see if we can help journalists. But let us all agree that these people work and they work and they need a better pay for what they do.
And these things come with advocacy, like you said. So what we can do is to collaborate with the press union of Liberia and to continuously advocate for improvement of the wages and salaries of journalists in our country. Because there's just a lot of problems that journalists in our country are facing, and to begin to even name them here, besides the economic component of it, it's just so there's an entire spectrum of assistance that the media desires in Liberia, including economic assistance, and those have to be discussed and advocated in tandem with the President of Liberia. So as we are already a partner of the PU, partnering with the President of Liberia, we certainly can join them in ensuring that we continue the advocacy so that there can be improvement in wages and salaries of media institutions in Liberia. Because when I was practicing in Liberia, for example, with Star Radio at the time, our Star Radio, I think on-mail radio, the Front Page Africa, I think Daily Observer, and not a fewer than 10 media institutions that were paying some good wages and salaries to their employees. Otherwise, the rest are just barely surviving. How can you be a media practitioner when you cannot even afford to afford transportation to go out on your reportorial duties? You can barely afford to pay your children's school fee in order to even feed your family. You understand? And as a result, members of the media have to get involved on ethical practices as a mode of harnessing, living wages for themselves. So I think we have, as an organization, like we've always done, have to continuously continue our advocacy to ensure that the right thing is done for our colleagues who are media practitioners in our country, because it is really economically hard on them, and it continues to get worse every day. You know, Jablosin spoke of the disparity between media owners and their employees. I mean, it's just wild and unbelievable.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I think it was an enlightening conversation, and thank you for coming on. So, audience, if you heard it, someone asked, "What is the occasion? What the occasion? What the occasion?" I think they came on late. What occasion and when? Where it beginning? So, is the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA for short, is ALJA's convention. The convention is an annual event of ALJA. J. Plason is a member of the board of ALJA. And for this year, he's a chairperson of the convention committee. And then Joey Kennedy is now the acting head, or is the head of the transitional leadership, now necessitated by the resignation of the president and the vice president of ALJA. So, in a nutshell, if you are in neighboring states, DC, your friends of Liberia or friends of the media, or a Liberian or a media person, I've had some Nigerian friends approach me and be like, "You're really accomplished." You know, they just want to impress it that Liberian journalists were able to organize themselves overseas, and a few of them have said they were we got big mo, we couldn't even do that. And I think it was considered our compliments coming from our cousins from Ghana and Nigeria. So some of them have expressed admiration even from Sierra Leone, Ali from my end, people that I'm connected to in my network. So my point is, you don't have to be a Liberian. You're a friend of Liberia, or you admire like what we do, or we share the same values: journalism, social justice, fairness. Please come and join us in Philadelphia this coming weekend. If you live in neighboring states, come and join us in Philadelphia. It's going to be huge. It's going to be epic. Come and the prices of the for the dinner night was announced. Where you said $40 for single.
Yeah,
Yeah,
40 for single, 75 for couple, and 100 for patron.
Okay. Okay. All right, $40 for single. Okay, I'm going to share the flyer anyway. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Do you have any parting word, anything that we didn't cover, so that we can just go home?
Okay, so let me go first, and then the OIC will come. And I'll do so as chairman of the planning committee. And first, let me thank you, Priscilla, for having invited us here today to discuss our upcoming convention. And I'd like to say to everyone listening, everyone who's going to listen to this after, it's going to be a worthy cause if you committed yourself to contributing to helping ALJA in its programs. As I stated, and the key thing, the most important thing, if you make a dollar contribution, a $1,000 contribution, the important thing you want to know that your money is going toward helping a media fund drive. The media fund drive is meant for media development in Liberia. There are challenges with our media. We want to build a capacity so that they will help to, at the end, provide education and information for our people to make very good decisions. Decisions are important for people to get involved into democratic processes, especially like elections. And I stated earlier, during elections time in our country, most candidates come around being charitable, than being people who qualified and competent. You will never read candidates' qualifications. You all understand that they give a bag of rice. They give 1,000. They give 10,000. They're playing on people because people are poor, they are gullible, and they are elephant. We want to get rid of those things, and that's what ALJA is working towards, improving the media in our country to be capable to provide information with which our people can make better decisions and help us to help them. That's what the fund drive is about. Thank you.
Thank you, J Plason. Can you tell us, the both of you, you came on, you didn't even tell me, you came on in those nice t-shirt. It was so late now for me to run in. We're just about to go live to put on my t-shirt, and I don't want to spoil my makeup anyway. Well, yeah, so show us, what are you wearing? It says on the ALJA, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like,
So so it's our this is our insignia. So the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA. So both from the caps and the t-shirt. So and those are the t-shirts we're going to be wearing as we go to the White House. We are all going to be in uniform, and so we are encouraging our members to wear their ALJA t-shirts on the morning of Friday as they board the bus, because the authorities at both the White House and the Capitol have encouraged us to wear, some matching regalia. So we'll encourage our colleagues to wear their t-shirts. So, and that in itself will serve as a mode of publicity. It's going to be publicizing ALJA, in creating visibility for ALJA in the White House. And so I mean, in the likely event that we have opportunity to bump into the president of the United States, he's going to be, well, what is ALJA? And we can take the opportunity to explain to him or any other official of government that will be there that day. So yeah, that's what we're wearing. But I just want to, just join Mr. Jablosin in commending you, the incoming vice president of ALJA, who is also the host of this show, for providing us the platform, this opportunity to, you can't be the VP of the organization. So all the things we're
I
talking
want to
next
for
time,
later.
next time you're hosting, I know how you're going to be hosting.
We'll switch chairs. So I'll be social teacher here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So we just
just
want to thank you so much for providing us the opportunity to be here. And we want to call on every Liberian who wants to see justice, democracy, rule of law, and the provision of information, education to our people in Liberia to join us in supporting the Media Fund Drive, because your support to our Media Fund Drive will enhance the capacity of our media colleagues in Liberia who are involved in collecting information that educates, inform, and broadens the horizons of our people in our country. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you too. In Philadelphia. Like I said, I'll be there on Thursday morning at 9:30. My wife and I will be traveling, so we want to meet all of you guys there. And I look forward to interacting and having a wonderful time, because whenever I go to ALJA convention, I just like to, sometimes I like to just sit with colleagues and just talk for long hours, because you seldom have the opportunity to speak to people, to talk to people like Jabla Singh. I think the last time I saw Jabla Singh was about a year ago. And before I saw him a year ago, about like 3 years earlier before I saw him. I have not really, interacted with you before. So the convention provides an opportunity for us to interact with our colleagues and our friends and people we have not seen for a long time, and even people who are not even part of ALJA, who are Liberians. The fact that we are able to relate and to talk about Liberia and talk about our food, our culture, and all those things, can really be good. So I'll be looking forward to the experience again this weekend.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. I know, was it last year somebody saw me, as soon as I didn't even know people watching, as soon as at the convention, as soon as I greeted, said, "Oh, a new day is here. Hi,
Uh-huh.
a
See
new
that?
day." I was laughing. I said,
Absolutely.
Mr. Joseph Batwa. I said, "Oh my God!" So you're watching it, and then yeah, so that was the greeting from a few persons. So yes, yeah, when we gather together like that, it's great. You get reminded of where they want matrimony and patrimony. But so yeah, please, ALJA members, get ready. Let's meet this week. I'm coming. I'm leaving Arizona on Thursday. And then others who haven't made up their mind, hopefully, as you watch us, yeah, try. You can do this. Try and
Yeah.
join us, please. And then, friends, again, other people in surrounding states or within the state, if you haven't decided, you can do it. Please come and join us this weekend. Let's have a blast together. Um,
Absolutely.
it has been so enriching being with you. Y'all, thank you for joining me today, Jiblason and Joey. And community, y'all, thank you. This is a new day. Let's continue to dialogue and advocate for change in our society. It's a new day, y'all. It's a new day. All right. Peace, everyone.
All right. Bye bye.
We all love you. Love you is our